Merry Christmas! The Christmas story commences with a promise and unfolds through a prophecy, featuring a unique progeny. In the final chapter, it culminates with a magnificent proclamation found in Luke chapter 2. Setting the stage, we delve into the political backdrop of this narrative. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree for a worldwide census, showcasing his authority and divine aspirations. Augustus, originally Gaius Octavius, adopted the name Caesar to honor Julius and assumed the title Augustus, signifying the exalted one with a religious connotation. This marked the beginning of Roman emperors claiming divinity, a belief enforced annually, as every citizen had to declare Caesar as Lord before a bust of him. During the time of Caesar Augustus, acknowledging him as the primary deity was a requirement, and many Christians faced persecution for refusing to declare Caesar as Lord. This marked the Roman government's initial attempt to suppress Christianity, leading to the martyrdom of those who stood firm in their faith. Caesar's decree for a census, impacting the entire known world or the Roman Empire, was not a one-time event, but established a 14-year census cycle. Despite Caesar's apparent authority, it was ultimately God who orchestrated the circumstances, compelling Mary and Joseph to undertake an arduous 80-mile journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem. This journey, undertaken despite the challenges, was part of God's plan to fulfill His word. 700 years prior, the prophet Micah foretold in Micah 5:2 that Bethlehem would be the birthplace of the Messiah, the ruler of Israel, whose origins are from old, from everlasting. Despite Caesar's perceived power, he was merely a pawn in God's hands, fulfilling the prophecy through a seemingly unrelated census decree. This echoes Solomon's words in Proverbs 21:1, emphasizing that the king's heart is under God's control. God orchestrated events, prompting Caesar to issue a census, leading Joseph and a pregnant Mary to Bethlehem, aligning with the prophesied birthplace of the Christ child. Now, let's delve into the key figures in this remarkable narrative, starting with Joseph and Mary, whom we explored in detail last week. In verse 3, everyone, including Joseph and Mary, went to their own cities to be registered due to Caesar's universal census. Typically, Jews in Israel were exempt from Roman censuses because they were excused from military service. However, this census aimed to register individuals by family and place of birth, eventually leading to the imposition of a poll tax. Despite their humble background in Nazareth, Mary and Joseph, both descendants of King David, were obliged to return to Bethlehem, Joseph's ancestral home, for registration. At this point in the Christmas story, Mary was around 16, Joseph about 18, in a Jewish betrothal, legally married but not yet having undergone the official marriage ceremony. They had not consummated their relationship and chose to do so after Jesus' birth. Now, let's focus on the most crucial figure in the story, the Christ child, introduced in verse 6. In Bethlehem, as Mary's time to deliver approached, she gave birth to her firstborn son, wrapping him in swaddling clothes and placing him in a manger. The term in verse 7, translated from the Greek word kataluma, doesn't refer to a conventional inn like a Holiday Inn. Instead, it describes a walled courtyard without a roof, with stalls forming around the perimeter, providing shelter for travelers. Bethlehem, not a large town, was likely crowded due to people traveling to their hometowns for the census, explaining why there was no room in the kataluma for Mary and Joseph. In a hurry, Mary ended up giving birth in a stable, possibly a cave, commonly found in the region, turned into a makeshift shelter for animals. The traditional wooden shed in nativity scenes is a Western depiction, whereas the reality was likely a cave turned stable. Explore profound insights and enhance your spiritual journey by selecting the I button above. Immerse yourself in transformative content designed to nurture spiritual growth, offering profound wisdom to guide you on a journey of self-discovery. In the humble surroundings of a stable filled with animal dung and straw, Mary gave birth to Jesus, her firstborn son. Although Matthew 13:55 mentions that Mary and Joseph had other children, Jesus was the firstborn. Mary wrapped him in swaddling cloths, securing him, and laid him in a stone feeding trough, a manger. This imagery of there being no room for Jesus even at his birth foreshadows the pattern of his life and ministry. Just as there was no room for him in the inn, the religious system of the day rejected him. This theme of no room for Jesus continues in many lives where people are unwilling to make room for the Savior. Turning to the shepherds in verse 8, they were living in the fields, tending to their flocks at night. The fact that they were in the fields suggests that Jesus was not born on December 25, challenging the traditional Christmas date. During the time of Jesus' birth, shepherds lived outside day and night, tending to their flocks. Significantly, God chose to announce the Savior's birth to these social outcasts rather than the religious leaders of Israel. This choice demonstrated God's grace, as shepherds were considered ceremonially unclean and socially undesirable. It underscored the message that Jesus came to save sinners, especially those society had rejected. God's proclamation to the shepherds emphasized that all are welcome to receive his Son, regardless of their background or past. This profound statement reveals that anyone who accepts Jesus as their Lord and Savior is welcomed into God's family. Moving to verse 9, an angel of the Lord appeared to the shepherds, surrounded by the glory of the Lord, evoking fear in them. The angel assured the shepherds not to fear, announcing joyful news for all people. The proclamation was that a Savior, who is Christ the Lord, had been born in the city of David. This message fulfilled the ancient promise to Abraham in Genesis 12:3, ensuring that through the Messiah, all families on earth would be blessed. The term good tidings or gospel conveyed that this news was not just a momentary fix for something bad, but a source of great joy for everyone. The angel emphasized that the Savior's birth was for the benefit of all people, transcending cultural and ethnic boundaries. The birth of Jesus marked the fulfillment of God's promise to send a Savior who would rescue humanity from the grip of sin. The angelic announcement declared good news of great joy for all people, as a Savior, Christ the Lord, was born in the city of David, man's fallen state, separated from God since the Garden of Eden, could only be redeemed by receiving Jesus as Lord and Savior. Verse 14 climaxes the Christmas story with the proclamation of peace on earth, signifying the arrival of the Prince of Peace. However, it's poignant that the season meant for peace often sees increased struggles with depression and anxiety. The contrasting images of joyous families portrayed during Christmas can intensify feelings of sadness and emptiness for those facing difficulties during this time. The holiday season, often depicted as a time of joy and togetherness, can be particularly challenging for those facing personal struggles. Divorce, health issues, estranged family relationships, and significant losses can magnify feelings of sadness and depression during Christmas. Pastor Greg Laurie, who understands grief from losing a son, emphasizes that while Christmas itself may not fulfill its promises of joy, harmony, and happiness, true hope and joy come from Christ. It's important to recognize that the source of lasting joy is not Christmas, but Christ himself. He can bring peace, healing, and fulfillment beyond what the holiday season promises. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can benefit from this message, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching the video. Take care and see you soon.